All right, so I'm going to be going over my Canvas assignment. I'll first go through the front end, then I'll go through the back end, and then we'll get into the actual code behind it. So we'll start by looking at, the new UI. It looks great. I made some major changes when it comes to the UI. I think it looks so much better. I put a lot of effort into this. I'm really excited about how it turned out. I think it actually looks great. Um, I'll add myself as the instructor. We'll just say R22 at fsu.edu. That's my student ID. And we can also enter that, and we'll add the test course, which we'll do data structures and algorithms once again. All right. And that's going to be COP 4530. This course covers DSA, right? And we can edit this course. So taught by Aiden. It's nice. I'm teaching a class. And we can also add a delete me. I'll also do this for the instructor and the student, just to show that functionality. All right, so now let's go and we'll just add delete me here. And then we'll just add a smiley face to the end of the name, and we can just remove delete me, and let's add the student. This is going to be test student for Aiden's course, and we won't give him an email, and he'll be a senior. All right, and now we can also add a delete me to this student's view. And this also works if you don't want to assign any of these stuff. It's not, I mean, I could fix this. I just thought it was a nice feature to have, just in case, I don't know, someone doesn't have a name. And we can also delete that. And so we can enter this view, and we can see that the data structure and algorithms course comes up. So we can enroll in that, and return to this instructor's view and check out the students. And you can see that I have a student now. And if we return to that student, might as well just show this. We can unenroll, and the student should be gone from that course. So, sorry. It's kind of mesmerizing just going between all of these states. So yeah, the student's gone. And if we're entering back into the student, we can add back to the course. And yeah, let's just, there's no assignments as you can see, so let's go back into the instructor and add an assignment. So we can add test assignments, and then we'll call this test assignments. Write a for loop in C++, which traverses a string. And we'll set the date for the future, just because I'll show in a second why, but you actually can't grade this. You can't submit the assignment, sorry, if it's before the due date or after the due date. And we'll just add it to all students. That's just what this did. I just think it's a nice feature, just in case there's, 400 students in a course. You don't want to manually copy and paste everything. You can just add it to all. But grading's still going to be manual, obviously. I can't really automate that. And yeah. So as you can see, it shows up under there. I also really like this feature of when you click on each student, their assignments show up individually. I just think that's cool, nice to have. It reduces the number of views there actually are, so, it's useful. Also, these selection buttons, they can get really annoying to keep pressing. And we can see that this select assignment has shown up. So let's just enter into there. So we need to write a for loop in C++ that traverses a string. Let's just make our string, and that's going to be equal to, well, let's just do hello world, right? And then I'll just, didn't give the string a name. And then we'll just see. So obviously, and yeah, as you can see, the due date's right, and there are no points currently possible, and it's been submitted. Yeah, and as you can see, we don't currently have a grade. So if we're going back over the instructor, let's enter there, and let's enter there. Yeah, there is assignment still, and we can see that submission pops up right there. And if we were to just say submit a new one, as long as it's before the due date, you should be able to resubmit an assignment, right? And it'll only show the latest submission. So if I just actually wasn't supposed to print out the string, just show how to traverse a string, or I wasn't supposed to use the auto keyword. Well, let's just say CLI plus then desktop length, and then I plus, right? And then yeah, we'll submit that new one, and let's check out the instructor view and go to there, and we'll see the new submission. So yeah, the new submission shows up there, and let's just say there's a new submission, so you can't submit this, and we'll set it for the pass. We'll add it to all students. Also, I'll just show the grading as well when I'm over there. Let's just give it 100 out of 100 points. Or let's show a better fraction or something, or actual percentage grade, not just 100. We can show 45, or let's even just do it decimal. Sorry, I'm just trying to come up with the best test cases to show functionality and how diverse the applications to something like this can be. So yeah, you can see it shows up over there, and you can't submit me. We'll go back over to that student. You can't submit me, and 196%. So yeah, I did great. And we'll go to this, you can't submit me. I want to submit you, and I cannot because it is after the due date currently. So yeah, that's the basic functionality of the actual front end of this canvas. So I'll get into the REST API integration with air quotes. So let's go over to API and let's run this. All right. So we have this student right here. We have all the functionality. So let's just see the list of students first. So that's the format that the students are held in. And let's make a request. Try it out. Execute. And as you can see, there are some test students there. And there I am. And I'm ID 2, and we'll delete John too. Just for the tests. So let's get student ID 2. And as you can see, it's Aiden. No courses. And if we try deleting, let's just try deleting student ID 2 once again. I think I just deleted it twice actually. Let's try deleting 3. Yeah, I did. So John was deleted, and we can also search. So let's actually just add a new student because I'm running low. Running low on students, so that's going to be the post. We can add a new student. Let's just add this giant body, and we'll change one of these students' IDs to like 5. That should work, yeah. And then we'll just search for, sure. Yeah, you can see that that was empty. So let's try 5. I didn't implement the changes, but you get the point. These basic functionalities do work, and you can see this emails. So let's get into what I have for the API first. Stop that build. So I did start implementing the changes. I don't have a fully fledged big database or anything. There's just those 3 students which are added, and it doesn't actually connect with the library, but it is functional in the separately, as you can see. So you can check out the student controller. It's the API. It's just the basic get ID, delete, search, add or update, essentially. Not too complicated. It's not fully fledged, but I did manage to also create the DTOs. I'm trying to find them. I think they're in my library, actually. Sorry, everything's like hidden. There are a billion files. So I do also have a student DTO here, just to show I do understand the concept of what it's supposed to be. So yeah, this is just the bare bones student, which is compared to my messy person, which has a billion things inside of it. So I guess I'll just go top down for these files. We'll start with the... Also, I'll just show off the enterprise controller. I do have all of those things implemented as well. So it's a singleton header update. That's the basically checks if you're in there, checks if it's a valid ID. If not, then it's going to add a new person. Otherwise, it's going to find the student, and then it's going to check if that student's null. If it's not null, otherwise if it's found in the fake database, then it's going to replace it. And there's if it is. It's just going to find the student, get in the student ID, return the new DTO, or null if it's not found. Get students, gets a list of the DTOs, search, use query. These are all basically patterns that are used all throughout the program, specifically for the students' courses and other things within the actual Maui application. So getting into the instructor view, we have the basic map implementations, or just a basic structure of the program. There's a vertical stack layout. These list view templates were extremely helpful in making this program look good, because I could not it made making the lists Specifically, like the course lists look really good as well. So that's just what's in this here, or these. So adding a student, specifically here, this is essentially just a grid, right? And then this is the first grid item. The second grid item, it binds to the back, the view model, and it gets the name, and then this one binds to the email, gets the email, and it puts them all in a list. And so this is basically just representing these individual items within the list. So this one is actually this exact example. So it's the name, then the email. As you can see, it's going to be on those correct columns. So it's going to be 0, then 1. 0, 1. All right, and moving on to the buttons. I used image buttons. I actually just grabbed them off of Google Fonts or Google Icons. They have some great buttons here. They're not great at representing some things, as you can see, like specifically in some of these, like the course examples, I think. Yeah, some of these aren't super obvious sometimes. Probably shouldn't use the trash button, because if I just made my own icons, it might look a little bit better. I do like it with some of the assignments and stuff, but I love how it turned out. I like it a lot more than using the text specifically. So I have a lot of buttons. And I really hate how Maui makes us have all lowercase buttons, or all lowercase file names for images. It's really random. But yeah, moving on. So we have the query. Essentially how that works. So just for this example, it's going to see, it's going to bind this to something in the view model. So this P is being bound to a query string in the view model. And then when you're hitting this, when you hit the search button, it's just going to filter this IEnumerable list, which is just getting it from the course service. So it's going to get all the courses, and it's going to match them with the two. I think I used 2 lower, maybe 2 upper. It doesn't matter, of both. So it's going to see, does this T match any T's in this name right here? So yes, there's a leading T in this one. But if I had like this won't show up, then if I hit search here, well, actually will, but yeah, see, but just because this is this T back here, it'll show up, I'm pretty sure. But if I just did TT, I don't know, that's curious. That's weird. I don't know why that does that, but feature, not a bug. Moving on. Again, for the students, if we're adding a student, their email, their things, these are being broken up into columns. This is just a 2-string representation. I can try and find that. But what I think it's doing, what I think I implemented, is just grabbing the name of the actual enumerable, and then converting that to a string. It's actually the same way you do these the data binding across the view models, or the views. I'm trying to find an example. Sorry. Actually, it's gonna get this. Yeah, this query property, I'm basically just using this name of. So if we had like the enumerable, it's just gonna be like name of, and then it's gonna be classification dot, and then that's not what I made. It's gonna be person dot classification dot and then like freshman or whatever, and then toString. That'll just print out like this. And for the instructor, we're going to this. For this, it's basically the same thing. I mean, adding a course, adding a student. If you abstract enough away, it's just adding something to a list, essentially. So it's basically going to operate in the exact same manner. And then entering it again the same way we're going to enter the actual course. So for this one, all we're going to need to pass is what is the ID of the instructor. So from the ID of the instructor, we can gather what information actually pertains to that instructor through getting the instructor from the instructor service right down there. So we can get the instructor. So it's just going to search the roster. Right, so when we're entering here, it's just going to basically do that. It's going to, in the actual constructor of this view model, it's going to say, what's this instructor's name? And then it's going to put that there. And it's going to get an object for that instructor so we can get all this good data from him. And we can also add data from him. That's how we're adding these courses. It's just adding it to a list that's within this instructor, which is their courses, right? So we have this course list within it. So yeah, that's all we're doing when we're adding it. We're just adding objects to lists, and those objects have lists in them, and then we're adding objects to those lists. Like within the, even if we're going even deeper into the project through these assignments, adding an assignment is literally just adding, again, essentially a student. Because if we go deeper into the code, go to the assignments, you have a list of submissions within the assignments, which are within a list of courses, which are within a list of students, which are within a list of people. It's just list on lists on lists. So it's not extremely complicated on how it works. Yeah, I can go a little bit deeper into some of the error checking and stuff, like for the grades. How do we get an integer to not return something like 0? Because obviously an integer is always going to be 0. If you're doing something like 90 divided by 100, that's going to be 0. So we fixed that. Then we're converting that to the grade, then we're returning that grade to the string. And yeah, we just format that. Made a note that there just because I would never remember that. So yeah, there's toString overrides for almost every class, every object specifically that we're using, every one of these base models. Yeah, and they all have functionality. So if we're getting the student assignments, we're just returning their course list, right? Or this is actually from the course. So if we're getting the students assignments, I used a hash map. It's because I felt as though my program wasn't exactly efficient, because as I've said, there are lists on lists on lists, and at some point these lists are going to cause an issue for me, and I wanted to speed it up in some way. It's not unreasonably fast, but it does make the program more scalable, and I think that's a good implementation. The way this assignment list works actually is it uses this integer as the student's ID, so it stores those individually. So it's really easy also to delete the students from the course because you're just clearing that hashed object, or the object within the hash map. or the pair, whatever. Um, Moving on to the submissions, date, time. This is just used so we can see if it's a valid submission or if we want to ever present that to the teacher, because that's valuable information they might want to know. Um, so when it's created, it's setting it to now. So it'll actually um, put the date as the when it was started. But I guess I should actually modify that. Um, I will do that after this video, but good to know. Um, so all these services, they're singletons, just so we can get some basic information, like the course list, courses, everything like that. Getting students in course, getting instructors, adding instructors. Same basic replace logic for the instructors. Same thing with students. And I did start implementing these DTOs, but I did not get very far. So yeah, that's the basic functionality and overview of my project. I hope you enjoyed. I really enjoyed working on this project this semester. It was amazing. This has definitely been one of my favorite classes. And yeah, I did have some issues along the way from using Mac, just because Mac doesn't particularly work well with Microsoft applications for some reason. So I'm now using a Windows computer. So it made it 1,000 times easier. So that was definitely the best part of my project, was not using a Mac anymore. But I really enjoyed every portion of this. I think I will definitely look into Maui development, and I'll try and independently make some of my own apps, because I really enjoyed the process. There are some things about the language that admittedly are not great. A lot of Maui issues that I had were really random and hard to find, specifically with the data binding. It could be really difficult, but I did have a lot of fun. So thank you, and have a great break. So the intro to the recording got cut off, but basically what I was saying was we're going to go through the Maui application first, then we're going to go through the basic functionality of the backend, and then I'm going to cover actual code and how everything works logically and literally. So thanks for watching.